Afreilichen Zois Chanukah. This is Gemar Nedarim Daf Samoch Gimel of learning for this month of Teves has been generously sponsored by a close friend of the Daf as Aschos Aliyah Neshama of Aryeli ben Yaakov. B'siyat Dishmaya, the learning of the entire Chabura as we conclude another amazing parak of Daf together should bring Aryeli ben Yaakov to an higher place in Gan Eden Shamayla, closer to the Kisei HaKavod. As we learn together words of Torah, Talmud Torah, Kenegei Kulam, all of us together. So we're holding on, Samach Beis, Amid Beis. It's true, this isn't the daf for Zeis Chanukah. We're trying to get one more daf in, at least recorded, to maintain a little bit of those ayros of Chanukah in our learning together. So we're holding at the bottom of Samach Beis, Amid Beis, Ara Geshamim, Achua Geshamim, Asheteir Reviya Shniya, Rashba Goymer. So we're up to the Gemara, 3 lines on the bottom, in which the Gemara quotes the Machlokes at the end of the Mishnah. The Machlokes Rashbag and Tanakama, when one says at the end of the Mishnah, Ad Hagi Shamim, if someone says until it is the rains in the plural, then we have a Machlokes. The Tanakama learned until the second rainfall. Rav Shimon Gamliel said no. You don't need the actual second rainfall. Rather, said Rav Shimon Gamliel, the time of the second rainfall is the time that the neder goes until. So says the Gemara, Omar Rav Zira Machlokes Amar Ad Hagishamim. Says Rav Zira, just like the words in the Mishnah, that and only there, in the plural, Ad Hagishamim, is where there is a Machlokes. However, continues Rav Zira, Aval Omar Ad Hageshem, if he says until the rain in the singular, then everyone agrees, even the Tanakama concurs, Ad Zman Gishamim Ka'amar, that he's referring to the time of the rain. And we turn over to Samach Gimel Amid Aleph, which now the Gemara is going to embark on quite a lengthy question on this din of Rav Zira. And the good news is for all of us that have been learning Daf together, this should hopefully be a little bit familiar, as this is a Gemara in Tainis in which we've all learned already together. So hopefully that knowledge will fuel us to have a bit of clarity in this kasha, even though it is a little bit of a long-winded one. Meisvei asked the Gemara again. Rav Zira said the Machlokes in the Mishnah Tanakama Rav Shimon Gamliel is only if he said Ad Hagishamim. But if he says Ad Hageshem, singular, then there is no Machlokes, and everyone will concur with the opinion of Rashbag that the neder is only until the time of the rain, and you don't actually have to have rain. So Meisvei quotes the Gemara in Tainis Daf Vav. What is the time of rain? Habachira, the earliest rain is Begimel, the 3rd of Cheshvan. Beinan is the 2nd, B'Shiva the 7th, Afil the late B'Asiv B'Shalosha the 23rd, Divir Meir. Rav Yudaimer, no. B'Shiva, it's the 7th of Cheshvan, B'Shiva also the 17th, B'Asiv B'Shalosha the 23rd. Rav Yosi Aimer, a 3rd opinion. B'Shiva also the 17th, B'Asiv B'Shalosha the 23rd. U'B'Chodesh Kislev and Rosh Chodesh Kislev. V'chein. So we have number one, we have a 3-way machlokes. What is the zman of the Reviyah? What are the 3 times of the rain? Okay, detail number 1. V'chein, Rav Yosi Omer, and similarly Rav Yosi would say, because Rav Yosi learned that the 3 fast days extend all the way to Rosh Chodesh Kislev. The Yechidim only begin fasting when all 3 times for rain have passed and the rain did not come. So that's going to take us all the way till Rosh Chodesh Kislev. V'amrinan Allah, and says the Gemara over there in Tainus, we learned on this. Why do we care about the relevance of the first date of rain? Lishael, because you have to ask Hashem for rain. Shlishis, which of course refers to Visin Talumata. Shlishis, which of course, let's just remind yourself, that's the big machlokes Eretz Yisrael versus Bavel, or Chutz La'aretz, I should say, whether we start all the way back in Cheshvan, or whether we go by the English solar calendar, as we do in America. Shlishis, the 3rd date of rain, Lis Anois, is when you start fasting. Elashniya Lemai, what's the relevance to the 2nd date of the rain? The Omar Rav Zira, you know what the relevance is? Lenoider, our sugya, all the way from Tainis, all the way to Nedarim. Now we finally have a complete picture. Why do we need to know the date of the second rainfall for one who makes a neder? Okay, so far, so good. If you make a neder, when does it go until? The second rainfall. So yeah, we have not proven whether it's Geshamim, whether it's Geshem, singular or plural, whether it's rain in actuality, or whether it's the time of the rain, and here's the punchline. Who's the following price that says Rashba Gomer Geshamim, Sheyardu Sheva Yamim Zachar, as if the rain actually falls, keywords, for 7 consecutive days. Then it counts for both rains. Kiman, Kirav Yaisi. Kirav Yaisi was the opinion that there was a 7-day interval, the 17th to the 23rd. That's a 7-day interval. So if it rains for 7 days, you got both rains in there. So says the Gemara, from the fact that we're trying to learn that the Braisa of Rashbag is only Rav Yaisi, clearly not everyone concurs if one says Ad Hageshem, until the rain, that it's the time of the rain. Because in the Braisa of Rav Shimon Gamliel, he is referring to what? Not a case of a time for the rain, but he's talking about rain in actuality. Now, there's one leap of faith that we had to have taken in order to understand this Gemara, and that leap of faith was that the Gemara assumes that whenever we're discussing a neder, it's talking about a case of ad hageshem, not that ad hageshamim. Now why? Why do we assume that? Because that's the most common way of saying the lashon of rain. That sets up the Gemara's teretz that says, Haudamer ad geshamim. Even though you're right, that might be the most classical and common way of saying rain is geshem, but this brisa was talking about an abnormal case, so about ad geshamim, and therefore there is no question at all. And we continue on the bottom of Samach Gimel Amud Aleph with another Mishnah. Says the Mishnah, Kainam Yayin Sheini Tayim. One makes a neder that he's not going to drink any wine. Lishana, for 1 year. Nisabra Shana. And what happens? The year becomes a leap year. Also, he's forbidden to drink wine. Ba ubi yibura. As we've learned a few days ago, not only is he not allowed to drink wine on that day, but he said he's making a neder for the entire year. So he's forbidden to drink wine, the Ibar, the leap month as well. Ad Rosh Adar, but if one makes a neder until the beginning of Adar, or Ad Rosh Adar Harishain, then what does he mean? If he says the neder is until Adar, he means the first Adar. If he says Ad Soif Adar, says the Gemara Mishnah, Ad Soif Adar Rishon. So the Mishnah points out, if any time he specifies Adar, whether he says beginning or end, he's referring to the first Adar and not the second. So says the Gemara, let's dive into the end of this Mishnah. Alma stama d'Adar. Tika Amar. So says the Gemara, if one makes a neder, we see that if he just says Adar stam, Tika Amar rishanu, it's seemingly he's referring to the first Adar, as we saw in the end of the Mishnah. If he says Adar, the Mishnah taught us about the first Adar. Says the Gemara, if that is true, if the detail that we're pulling out of the Mishnah, that when you say Adar, it refers to the first Adar, says the Gemara, whom is that? That is Rabbi Yehuda. The Tanya learned to the Braisa Adar Rishon Koisev Adar Rishon. Says the Braisa, if someone is writing a document, if someone is writing a shtar, whether it's a shtar Gerushin or whether it's a simple document of sale, and you want to write Adar, the first Adar, what do you write the first Adar? Adar Sheni, Koisev Adar Stam, Divi Rabbi Meir. So Rabbi Meir clearly is not our Mishnah. Rabbi Meir holds that what is Adar Stam? The second Adar. Rabbi Yehuda, Omer says Rabbi Yehuda, Adar Arisha in Koisev Stam, Adar Sheni Koisev Tinyana. Says Rabbi Yehuda, mamish like the diuk we just learned in our Mishnah, that if you said Adar open-ended, that's the first Adar. But if you want to write the second Adar, you write Tinyan, you write the second. So proves the Gemara that our Mishnah clearly is only like the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, which of course we never like Mishnayis to conform only to one opinion. So Amar Abaya, 2 lines at the bottom of Samach Gimel Amar Aleph Afilu Tema Rabbi Meir. Says Abaya, no. Really, we can learn that the Mishnah is even Rameir. So comes along Abaya, and Abaya creates a bit of an ukimta, but we rather that and see the Mishnah fits with everyone else. What's the ukimta? The brisa is where when you're writing your shtar, you know that it's a leap year. You know that there are two adars. In such a scenario, that's where the machlekes Rameir and Rav Yehuda applies. However, our Mishnah, which taught us that if you say Stam Adar, it's the first Adar, says Abayas, you didn't know about the leap year yet. And in that case, even Rameir could agree that Stam Adar refers to the first Adar. So Rameir only says Stam Adar refers to the second Adar when you know already that it is a leap year. So we continue, says the Gemara, as we turn over to Samul Gimel Amid Beis. Says the Gemara, one second. Says the Gemara, Ve'hatanya. Not ask the Gemara, one second. Our page of Gemara is moving. Let's put that back where it belongs. There we go. Says the Gemara, Ve'hatanya. This Ve'hatanya is, as Rashi would often teach us, is bini chusa. It's not a kasha, but rather this Ve'hatanya is a raya. Says the Brisa, as we turned over to Samul Gimel Amid Beis, Adar Shchodesh Adar, Adar Shchodesh Adar Rishon. It means the first one. So says the Gemara, what does that show us? That the first part of the Brisa is not talking about a Mubares. How could that be? Says the Gemara, they can't be. It has to be a leap year because we're talking about a leap year. So what's the difference between these two parts of the Brisa? Proves the Gemara the difference must be whether you knew or not it is a leap year. So we're concluding that our Mishnah that says Stam Adar is Adar Rishon could be is Rav Yehuda. It could even be Rameir. Rameir normally holds Stam Adar is Adar Sheni. That's only if you know that it's a leap year. If you don't know that it's a leap year, then Rameir could concur that Stam Adar is Adar Rishon. We're now on Samul Gimel Amid Beis. And we have a Mishnah, and really this Mishnah is going to take us all the way to the end of this parak. A little bit unique. I don't know how many prakim in Shas finish with a Mishnah, but here it is. Says there Mishnah, Rav Yehuda Imer, says Rav Yehuda, Kainam Yayin Shanita Yem Ad Sheyeheya Pesach. So it makes a neder from wine until it's Pesach. What's the halacha? Loi niskavin ze al elo alel Pesach. What is his intention? His intention is only until the night of Pesach. Ad shosh aderech b'nei adam lishtois yayin, the time that people normally drink wine, the Leil Seder, that's when he is usher until. But after that moment, he's going to be allowed to drink wine because he never intended that to be part of his neder. So these are really going to be, we'll call them the abnormal. This Mishnah is going to be all the cases which is not necessarily the simple interpretation of the words, but rather we're going to see in the Mishnah all the various other details that are going to come along and help us determine what one's neder means. Case number 2 in the Mishnah. Amar koinem basar sheni tayim atzaim. So it makes a neder that he's not going to eat meat until the fast day. Einoi aser ela ad leilei tzaim. He's only aser till the night of the fast. El leilei tzaim shlo niskavin zeh ela ad shah shederech b'nei adam lachal basar. He's only intending until the time that people normally eat meat. And people normally eat meat, we're talking about Erev Tisha B'Av. People normally would eat meat at the Suda Mafsakes. And therefore, on Erev Yom Kippur, the Mefarshim explain, and therefore, because you're supposed to have a Suda on Erev Yom Kippur, therefore, included in the Neder is that he does not want it to be in effect after that date, and therefore, he will, yes, be allowed to have the normal meal on Erev Yom Kippur like he normally has. Okay, and we continue. Again, we're having technology a little bit slower. I apologize. Says the Mishnah. Rabbi Yosi ben Omer, says Rabbi Yosi, his son. This originally we started with Rabbi Yehuda. Now it's Rabbi Yosi talking. Kainam shom shani tayim. Some makes it neder you will not have any garlic. Ashate Shabbos. Ino aser ela alel Shabbos. He's only asked until Friday night. Till the time that people normally eat garlic. And since people normally eat garlic on a Friday night, he's eating yes, be allowed to eat garlic on a Friday night. Continues the Mishnah with another case. Someone says this friend, at ba we've had this case previously. Someone says to his friend, I'm making a neder, I'm not going to get any benefit from you if you do not come and take from my field for your son a core of wheat and 2 barrels of wine. This is a unique case that he's able to be made for this neder without the utilization of a chacham. And zeu kvaidi. He doesn't need a chacham. Why? Because he can say the only reason I made this neder was for my honor. And this is my honor to get rid of the neder. Therefore he doesn't need a shelas chacham. And similarly, if someone says to his friend, makes a neder, you can't even benefit from me. And if you don't come and give my son kor shel chitin, you forbid until you give the core of chitin and the 2 barrels of wine. No, this is the same case. Additionally, as nidra shla bi chacham, you don't need a chacham to be made for this neder. Because over here, it's not that he can say that the whole intent of my neder was for my honor, but rather here he's a different way out. Because over here he can say that the whole purpose of my neder, he can just say it's as if I accepted it. And kilun is kabalti, we know in halacha works as if he accepted it, and therefore the neder will be null and void. We conclude the perek with the first wide line of Samach Gimel Amid Beis. If someone comes over and he's trying to push him to marry his sister's daughter, and he says in response to the incessant pushing, he says they make a neder that whatever benefit she might derive from me forever is a neder. Similarly, someone who has, while he's divorcing his wife, he makes a neder against his wife, his current wife, forever. In these cases, the neder does not fully work. And you're allowed to get benefits. What do you mean? He made a neder from this woman, she can never get benefit. Why? That he only made this neder for the purpose of Isha, for the purpose of either not to make the marriage or because he wanted to get divorced. But he never really intended that she should not get any benefit, therefore she's, yes, allowed to get benefit. And these are all cases that we've spoken about previously. Someone is urging his friend to eat by him. He says, I'm making a neder, I'm not going to enter your house. I'm not going to have one drip of water. You're allowed to enter his house. You're allowed to drink with him. Why? You made a neder not to. The whole purpose of the neder was for what? Was simply for achila ushtiya. The purpose of the neder was not a real neder. He made this neder simply because he wanted to get him off his back. I don't want to eat with you. But you are, yes, allowed afterwards to have benefit from him. Hadron Allah, kainam yayin, a quick perek, quick chazara we could do on this perek, b'siyata d'shmaya. We pick it up from Daf Samach Dalet in the next year, in Mirza Hashem.